Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and today the very first video that you're going to watch is probably the most important moving forward because not only are we going to be discussing the summative and what big ideas we should have pulled from our previous lessons, but also how to apply those ideas to different questions that we were asked in the summative, and then how to complete the remediation form itself. So moving forward, the video should be more focused on the different titles for each section. For example, this one is objects with similar mass. And we're going to be breaking down how this big important idea is going to help us not only understand what's in front of us, but then how to answer the question and what those big ideas are that will help us answer the question. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first example question, and then how to answer it using the form, and then what that means for the next set of questions. So the first question is all about this three boats with same masses. And if you notice, all three boats had their velocity changed. The first one from 8 to 3, so it slowed down. The first one from 0 to 5, it sped up. And the last one from 12 to 7, so it sped up. Now, this idea is that the big idea here is that we have these objects that have all of the same mass, and all of their velocities changed in different ways. And the question that's being asked is, which boat experienced the strongest force when it was bumped, and how do you know? So a bump is just a force, obviously, that's applied in a direction. In this case, the bump was in whatever direction caused the change itself. But it's asking which one experienced the strongest force. So we have to look really at the change of velocity to get an idea of which one has the strongest force. So it's either the blue toy boat experienced the strongest force. It's either the gray boat, the orange and gray, or all three. So let's go ahead and take a look at our simulator here. Imagine that each of these objects are all 1, 2, 3 different boats, and they all experienced a force that changed their velocity. Now, if you notice in the question here, they all changed by the same amount. The first one changed by 5, the second one sped up by 5, and the third one sped up by 5. So notice they all experienced the same change in their velocity. So if we were to have that same idea here, for example, we have an object or a set of objects that have a change that's similar. Let's say the object A went from 6 to 1, so a change of 5. Object B went from 0 to 5, a change of 5, and object C went from 10 to 5. They all experience the same change. They all have the same mass. They all have 1 kilogram mass. And the question again is, which one experienced the strongest force? Well, if we rewind the tape here and take a look at the force arrows, you'll notice they're all equal. Though the direction is different, the strength of the force is the same. Now, the amount of force needed to make those changes was the same in all different directions, causing the same amount of change, but obviously a different start and finish velocity. So the big idea here, folks, is that whenever we have objects of the same mass, okay, if we have larger changes in velocity, that means more force was applied. If we have smaller changes in velocity, it means a smaller amount of force was applied. But if we have the same amount of change to the velocity and the same amount of mass, okay, we're going to have the same amount of force. Notice that relationship between force, mass, and velocity. When two of them are the same, typically the third one is as well. So let's take a look at which answer here best represents that idea. Well, it's going to be D. All three boats experience the same force because they change speed the same amount. So under here where it says, my answer to the above question is, well, we have our question, we have our three answers, A, B, C, and D. Okay. Make sure you use the lowercase letter when you pick. We would pick the letter D, and we would click out, and we'd move on to the next question. If we were to pick the wrong answer, so let's say C, and we were to click out, it'd say, not quite, try again, and you could try again until we get the right answer. The next set of questions are all going to focus on that same idea of if we have objects with the same mass, okay, what's going to happen when we apply different forces. So go ahead and read through the questions, take what we just looked at, take what we just practiced with the simulator to help you kind of figure out which answer is correct, and then double check your answers. When you're done, you'll move on to the next section where we look at the next kind of topic and the next big idea associated with it. If you have questions, make sure you reach out. Otherwise, good luck.